I got a really great email from a viewer named Wade who said, COVID has taken away our ability to behave. And I think it goes much further. There seems to be almost like a COVID-induced psychosis that is plaguing this country and some other parts of the world. And I want to go through it today. I already discussed on yesterday's bonus show that a number of unruly passengers on airplanes are being reported to the FAA. That number is increasing dramatically, and much of it is related to or it's triggered by masks, people angry about someone else wearing a mask, people angry about someone else not wearing a mask. Masks and just getting back to being in close quarters with people on airplanes is causing many unruly passengers. We talked about that yesterday. But as Wade wrote to me, he said, quote, as more and more people attend events and begin to travel, there's an increasing level of violence and frustration that on the surface might seem to result of not having to practice decorum and civility in similar situations for the past year due to the pandemic. I think there's something to this. One category, fan behavior at sporting events. In Washington, D.C., fan runs onto court during Washington Wizards Game 4 in latest act of misbehavior. Games just started and there's a rash of this. The 76ers, Knicks, and Jazz have had to ban fans following playoff game incidents involving players. Then it grew more, and now 5 NBA venues have banned fans for disrespectful behavior during games. And it's not just happening in basketball, and it's not just happening in the U.S. In Glasgow, Scotland, fans of the Rangers Football Club went nuts, thousands of them defying COVID warnings against large gatherings, getting together in George Square to celebrate the Rangers winning their first Scottish Premiership championship in 10 years. The square was just strewn with broken bottles and bags, and there were flares launched and all sorts of stuff. Riot police came out. And then lastly, on the sports front, maskless Razorbacks fans in Arkansas led to a bunch of arrests and charges. One such fan pleaded guilty to violating the face coverings rule. Then we have all of the airline stuff. A report from CNBC explaining that a flight attendant union chief says unruly behavior from plane passengers has never been this bad. We mentioned yesterday that a Southwest Airlines passenger punched out a flight attendant's teeth last week, I believe 2 teeth. It's actually so bad that American Airlines is extending their suspension of alcohol service because they believe the alcohol can be an aggravating factor. Yeah, it can. And then the road rage has just exploded. Some examples include a rash of road rage incidents in North Carolina, in Los Angeles, in Colorado, in Atlanta. I don't believe this is as simple as people have gotten used to not having to behave because they've been home for a year plus, and now they're around people and they forgot how to behave. That just doesn't strike me as the explanation. Some of this is that there are people who just no longer care about decorum. Some are furious about the pandemic and about shutdowns. And instead of just being glad to be back to doing things, they're going nuts and they're taking their fury out on others. For other people, there's just the difficulty of reintegrating after being, as many people were and continue to be, so scared to do anything. And there's a sort of PTSD taking place. It's coming out in some weird ways. For other people, I think the becoming unaccustomed to being in groups has created a sort of agoraphobia. And some people stay home as a result of it. Others just kind of feel stressed when they go out. And then you have people who are reacting by lashing out in some of these weird ways. I think this is going to continue for some time. We're only starting to see the resumption in travel. We're seeing, let me mention one other thing. Commuting is horrible psychologically. People who have long commutes, it's just a real drag on quality of life. We know this from study after study. Not having to commute for so long for many people and then being dropped back into a commute as traffic is starting to build again. I can only imagine that that's having a real impact on a lot of people's psychological state. It took months to adjust to what was a new reality during the pandemic. I think it's going to take at least a few months to adjust to getting out of it, if indeed we continue to get out of it, and hopefully we will as vaccination continue. But I don't think that there's any easy solution to this. Let me know what you think, and we'll have more on this on our Instagram, where you can find us at David Pakman Show. One of our sponsors is Vincero Watches, giving you 15% off. A high-quality wristwatch is the perfect way to elevate your style. Own at least one watch that makes you feel great when you put it on. You can often see me wearing my Vincero watch on the show. Mine is the gunmetal vessel model. I'm a big fan of the metallic look of the face of the watch. I like the silicone strap. You won't find a better made watch for this good a price anywhere else. When you put it on, you know you got more than you paid for. Vincero believes in crafting super quality watches from high-end materials, but selling them at fair prices, which is why they have over 26,000 five-star reviews. And they stand behind every watch they make with a 1-year return policy and 5-year warranty. They'll give you 15% off everything in their store and free shipping at davidpakman.com/watch. Use the coupon code PAKMAN